Vaishnavas. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaivam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Udire Srimata Swataha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridayantasto Ye Bhadrani Vidunoti Trute Satam Nashta Prayashu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Today we are doing the summary of Canto 4, Chapter 7, which is the sacrifice performed by Daksha. So, Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashada Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you, Asambha Vaishnavas, for giving me this opportunity to speak for my own purification. Please forgive my mistakes made if I made any mistakes or interpret wrong interpretation. I'll summarize chapter 7 from the lectures given by the senior acharyas and purports by Srila Prabhupada. So, chapter 7 is sacrifice performed by Daksha. So, this chapter begins with Maitreya Muni, who is explaining the situation to Vidura, where Lord Shiva is specified by Lord Brahma. So, originally, the whole story about Mother Sati, where originally she married to Lord Shiva against the will of her father, and uh, then one day, one of the sacrifices, Daksha felt that Lord Shiva disrespected him, so that to humiliate Lord Shiva, he also arranged for a fire sacrifice, and then he did invited Lord Shiva and Mother Sati. But even ignoring the advice of her husband, she went fire sacrifice, and then she found that Lord Shiva was being disrespected. So she left her body. She cursed, and then she left her body. And then after that, Lord Shiva sent his uh, disciples to destroy the fire sacrifice. So the whole fire sacrifice was destroyed, and then uh, people or demigods or rishis who were supporting disrespecting Lord Shiva, they all got punished. So after this chapter is after that starts after that. So after that, Lord Brahma offers the wonderful prayers to Lord Shiva, and he is being pacified. And then Lord Shiva was so merciful that he forgives the demigods, all of them, except Shiva Venom. So there was one demigod, however, that Pusha and few others, they got a severe punishment. So the message here is that offense against Vaishnavas is very severe. Even if you participated in the activity while somebody is making offense against Vaishnavas, could have a severe consequences. And we can see here that uh, the person who did the offense against Lord Shiva was Daksha, and his head was cut off. But he got the most severe punishment. But the others who were joining to uh, disrespecting Lord Shiva or Vaishnava, like Pusha, even though they didn't directly offend Lord Shiva, but they participated with Daksha and created offense. So since Pusha laughed, showing his teeth, he was kept bereft of those teeth, and he had to eat through the food chewed by his disciple. And then when nobody was available, he has to drink the flour or dough because he didn't have any teeth. Similarly, Bhrigu he he was cut off his beard, and then he was given a beard of a goat. And since Daksha offended Shiva due to false ego, His head was cut off and replaced by the head of goat. So we have to be very careful with offense against Vaishnava. Not only that, if somebody is making offense against Vaishnava, either we should uh, respectfully challenge that or leave that place. But we should not participate or support that offenders. Otherwise, we will also get the punishment for offending Vaishnava. Next point made here is intelligence comes from heart and not through brain or head. So we have seen several examples like this here, like here when head of the Daksha was cut off and was replaced by goat's head. He still remember his knowledge and was able to offer wonderful prayers to Lord. So even historically, we have seen that even Lord Ganesha's head was replaced by a head of elephant, but he's considered one of the most intelligent god. So so much so that Ved Vyasji asked him to become his writer for the epic Mahabharata with condition that he would write each shloka only after understanding it. So this proves that intelligence comes from the heart. Contrary to the scientists, they think that intelligence comes from the head. So when we chant holy name and we hear shastras, our heart becomes purified. Nashtaprayashu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. As we recite in our shloka, that our heart becomes purified, our anartha is removed, and the covering of intelligence is removed, and then we can experience the true intelligence. And we experience, so in our day to day life also, we have experienced this periodically, and we sometimes call it as a gut feeling. However, it's a sparkle of intelligence, and that's why the more we chant holy name, the more we get purified and more we become spiritually intelligent. Now, Lord Shiva is called auspicious. If anyone sees Lord Shiva with a devotion and reverence, his heart is immediately cleansed. So, even though King Daksha was polluted by envy of Lord Shiva, yet by seeing him with a little love and devotion, his heart immediately cleansed. So that's the quality of a true Vaishnavas. When we see them, uh, that by seeing Vaishnavas, our heart gets cleaned, uh, and then Daksha offers wonderful praise to Lord Shiva. So he says that I didn't know your full glories, and for this reason I threw arrows of sharp words at you in open assembly, although you did not take them in account. I was going down to hell because of my disobedience to you, and who are the most respectable personality, but you took compassion upon me and saved me by avoiding punishment. I request that you please, by your own mercy, since I cannot satisfy you by my words. So here, Srimad Bhagavatam describes the nature of true Vaishnava, especially Lord Shiva, who is called topmost Vaishnava. Even though has done the most abominable things against Lord Shiva was very compassionate toward Daksh. And even though he punished him, he did it to correct him. We have seen similar behavior from other Vaishnavas, like Narada Muni, who cursed sons of Kuvera, but they got liberated by Krishna. Some of the demons, if we see the past stories, they were offenders to sages, but sages punished them in such a way that they were liberated by the Supreme Lord Himself. So we should accept punishment from Vaishnava as a blessings only, because uh, doesn't matter how Vaishnava punishes us, but our intention is always to help us, and it is always beneficial for us. So sometimes even Vaishnavas chastise us. We should not take as a we should take in a right spirit and as a blessings from Krishna, because in end it will only beneficial for us. And after this, Daksha completes his fire sacrifice, and then Lord Vishnu appears in his original Narayan form. So, if we conduct our spiritual activities with the guidance and blessings of Vaishnavas, the Supreme Lord pleases with us. Lord Vishnu is all pervading. So, any devotee who, in a sanctified meditation, following the regulative principles, chants the required mantra in service and in devotional mood, can see Lord Vishnu. So there is a beautiful description of Lord Vishnu, which given here in this in few verses, which we can meditate upon. The face of Lord Vishnu, as described in this verse, appears like a lotus flowers with bees humming over it. All of the ornaments on the body of Lord Vishnu resemble molten gold of the reddish gold color of the morning sunrise. The Lord appears just as the morning sun rises to protect the whole universal creation. His arms display different weapons, and his 8 hands are compared to the 8 petals of the lotus flower. All the weapons mentioned are for the protection of his devotees. So, the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, is always unlimited, and his glories cannot be completely uh, described by anyone, even by the personalities like Lord Brahma. It is said that Ananta, a direct incarnation of the Lord, has unlimited mouths, and with each mouth he has been trying to describe the glories of the Lord for an unlimited span of time. And yet, the glories of the Lord remain unlimited, and he therefore never finishes it. After that, in next few verses, different personalities glorifies Lord Vishnu and offers their wonderful prayers to the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, is always unlimited. And um, uh, sorry. So after that, Lord Vishnu explains that to all that Brahma, Lord Shiva, and I are the supreme cause of the material manifestation. And says, I am super soul, the self-sufficient witness. But impersonally, there is no difference between Brahma, Lord Shiva, and me. So, as said in Brahma Samhita in verse 5, that just as milk is transformed into curd by the action of acids, but yet the effect curd is neither same as nor different from it, because like milk. So, I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, of whom the state of Shambhu is a transformation for the performance of the work of destruction. So Lord says that I am the original personality of Godhead, but in other order to create, maintain, and annihilate this cosmic manifestation, I act through my material energy. And according to the different grades of activity, my representations are differently named. So we are all part and parcel of Krishna. So in essence, Srila Prabhupada used to say that there is only two things in this world, either Krishna and Krishnas. So, similar way, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva are the expansion of Lord Vishnu. So, sometimes people offend them by not worshipping them properly or not giving the due respect to them. And that's offense also because indirectly we are offending Lord Vishnu. Similar to uh, all the living entities, they are Krishna's energies. So, we should provide the appropriate respect to all of them. Um, And after that, Daksha, who is the head of all Prajapatis, uh, who was instructed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he worshipped Lord Vishnu. After worshipping Lord Vishnu, he completed a sacrificial ceremonies. So, and then Daksha separately worshipped Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva based on the instructions of Lord Vishnu. So Lord Vishnu should be offered everything, and his prasad should be distributed to all the demigods. And practice is still followed in the temple of Jagannath Puri. There are many temples of demigods around the main temple of Lord Jagannath, and the prasad which is offered first to Lord Jagannath is distributed to all the demigods. The deity uh, of Bhagalin is worshipped with the prasad of Lord Vishnu. Also, in the famous Lord Shiva temple of Bhuvaneshwara, the prasad of Lord Shiva or Lord Jagannath or Lord Vishnu or Lord Jagannath is offered to the deities of Lord Shiva. And this is the Vaishnava principle. The Vaishnava does not deride even ordinary living entities, including small ants. Everyone is offered proper respect according to his position. So the offering is in relation to the center, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. The devotee who is highly elevated sees the relationship to Krishna in everything. He does not see anything as being independent of Krishna. This is the vision of oneness. And the last few verses, we are given the sneak peek of future, giving the lesson that Lord Shiva and Shakti are never separated. To perform pastimes, they may appear in a different forms and then disappear, but they are not like ordinary human beings. And the verse they says describes that Ambika or goddess Durga, who was known as Dakshayani or Sati, again accepted Lord Shiva as her husband, just as the different energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead act during the course of a new creation. So she was born as a daughter of Himalaya and as a Parvati, and then she accepted Lord Shiva again as her husband. And in the last verse, we are given the Falashruti, means benefit of hearing this narration with the faith and devotion. The great sage Maitreya concluded, if one hears and again narrates with the faith and devotion this story of the Daksha Yagna as it was conducted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, then certainly one is cleared of all contamination of material existence, O son of Kuru. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, there are so many wonderful prayers and pastimes by Vaishnavas. After each prayers, some Falashruti is given, which can be provide spiritual benefit. So we should recite these prayers regularly and we should read Srimad Bhagavatam regularly because as we recite every day, Nashtaprayashu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtike. By regular attendance in classes on Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is praised with the transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So here is the remedy for eliminating all inauspicious things within the heart, which are considered to be obstacles in the path of self-realization. The remedy is the association of Bhagavatas. There are two types of Bhagavatas, namely book Bhagavat and the devotee Bhagavat. Both Bhagavatas are competent remedies, and both of them or either of them can be good enough to eliminate the obstacles. A devotee Bhagavat is as good as the book Bhagavat because the devotee Bhagavat leads his life in terms of the book Bhagavat. And the book Bhagavat is full of information about the personality of Godhead and his pure devotees, who are also Bhagavatas. So Bhagavad book and person are identical. So the devotee Bhagavat is a direct representative of Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. So by pleasing the devotee Bhagavat, one can receive the benefit of the book Bhagavat. With this, I like to conclude the summary. Please forgive me if I made any mistakes or offense.